On the phone now to discuss the global polio situation is Dr. Carol Pandak. Dr. Pandak is the director of PolioPlus with Rotary International. Dr. Pandak, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you, Robert.
Since we haven't had an indigenous case of polio in the United States since 1979, many of our listeners may not know what polio is. Can you briefly explain what polio virus is?
Sure. The polio virus attacks children mainly under the age of 5 and causes paralysis, oftentimes lifelong paralysis. So there is no cure for polio. There's only prevention from the disease, and it exists mainly in areas with bad sanitation. Bad sanitation.
Okay, very good. Right. Okay, well let's start with what is happening on the Horn of Africa. What is the current situation with the polio outbreak in that part of Eastern Africa?
Right. So there is a significant outbreak in the Horn of Africa. There's a total of 191 cases in Somalia, Kenya, Ethiopia, and South Sudan, but the lion's share of those cases are in Somalia, 170 cases, primarily in the Benadir region, which includes the Mogadishu area.
Great. And would you have, I know it started as an initial case in Somalia during the spring. Does anybody have any idea where that initial case came from?
Yeah, I think the genetic sequencing shows that the virus spread from Nigeria. So what happens is viruses are exported from the polio endemic countries, of which there are 3, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Nigeria. So it looks like that case came from or is genetically linked to virus in Nigeria.
Oh, okay, great. I know mass vaccination campaigns are taking place in all 3 of those countries. Are we seeing the fruits of these campaigns and getting this outbreak under control?
Yeah, I think we are seeing the fruits of the efforts. There have been multiple immunization campaigns in the Horn of Africa. And in fact, there were no new wild polio virus cases reported in the past week. So it looks like we're making progress. However, there does remain perhaps up to 500,000 children that are inaccessible in Somalia. And in order to get a control of this outbreak as quickly as possible, we will need to have increased access in Somalia.
Great. In recent years, they've been classifying polio as maybe being the next smallpox and it being eradicated off the face of the earth. And great strides have been made toward that goal. How does this current outbreak put a monkey wrench into that eradication effort, if any?
The current outbreak is a challenge, but to the point of the endemic countries exporting virus, we're continuing to see a progress in the remaining polio endemic countries of Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Nigeria. So they have 40% fewer cases this year than at the same time last year. So the good news is that we're continuing to have progress in those endemic countries, which should curtail the opportunities or the potential for an outbreak in other areas. Also, we haven't seen any type 3 polio for almost a year. India has been polio-free for almost 3 years. And Afghanistan has no indigenous virus. It has virus only from Pakistan. So we are making progress in the remaining endemic countries. But we need the program or the new strategic plan to be fully funded so that we can attack both outbreaks and the endemic countries.
Okay, great.
With the polio vaccine.
Sure. And you mentioned the 3 remaining endemic countries, and I did look at the numbers today, and they are decreasing. Pakistan is not doing quite as good as the other 2 countries.
Right.
But do you have any predictions about when these countries could be joining India and being removed off the endemic list?
Well, I think the one that has the most potential in the short term is Afghanistan. I mean, they don't have indigenous virus. It's all imported from Pakistan. So if they're able to increase the immunity levels of children in Afghanistan, they should be able to protect themselves from an importation from Pakistan.
And let me just talk about some of the countries surrounding the Horn of Africa. Is Yemen, is some of the other countries around there, are they taking any kind of precautions due to this outbreak?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, Yemen is conducting immunization campaigns in order to protect themselves from the virus. 65% of the country's children are being targeted with the polio vaccination. But yeah, the point is to have the surrounding countries conducting immunization campaigns to stop the spread, especially because we're entering the Hajj, and so there's going to be a lot of traveling across the region.
Sure. Right.
So we need to be stopping that cross-border transmission.
Dr. Pandak, can you comment at all on the situation in Israel and Gaza and the issue they're having with polio virus in the sewage samples? Is this something that may spiral out of control, or what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think it's an interesting phenomenon. Don't think it'll spiral out of control because the children in those two areas are well protected from polio in their routine immunization system. They use the inactivated polio vaccine. There have been no cases of polio in children. It's just been found in, not just, but it's been found in the sewage system. So it doesn't appear that perhaps children will be at risk, but they do need to stop the virus because it suggests that the polio virus is traveling in the region. Right.
And also, during the course of the year, we've read many stories about various terror groups horribly killing polio workers in Pakistan. And probably, I think, other countries too. What's the latest on this situation, and how is this affecting the eradication efforts?
Yeah, I think that it has had an impact on polio immunization efforts, and not surprisingly so, because the vaccinators are intimidated by the potential violence against them in carrying out the polio immunization activities. So in some cases, it has slowed progress where campaigns are not being held because the health workers are afraid, and there's not enough security to protect them when they're out in the field. Now, we need all countries to make the protection of health workers a priority and to depoliticize polio. It's become a bit of a political football, and it should not be used for politics, but for ensuring that children are immunized against a vaccine-preventable disease. But it has had an impact, yeah.
Right. I couldn't agree more. And I really appreciate you coming on the phone and talking to me about this critical infectious disease situation.
Sure.
Go ahead and I'll give you a chance to plug Rotary International and some of its work that it's doing.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity.
Sure.
Rotary is often thought of as the organization that first had a vision of a polio-free world. We've been immunizing children against polio since 1979. So it was really based on Rotary's volunteer effort and our fundraising. We've contributed more than $1.2 billion that the World Health Assembly in 1988 adopted a resolution to eradicate polio. We've been at the forefront of this fight for many years. We've made a promise to the children of the world. We work hard on advocacy with donor governments to secure the funding, secure the political support in countries like Pakistan and Nigeria. Rotary has boots on the ground in 200 countries and geographic areas. So we are really well placed to, I think, engage at these very local levels where polio still circulates. And we are in it to finish it.
Great. Now, I've been talking to Dr. Carol Pandak with Rotary International. She's the director of PolioPlus. Dr. Pandak, I appreciate you coming on here and speaking to me about this, and my listeners, I'm sure, will enjoy this, and keep up the good work.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity.
Okay, take care now.
Okay, bye, Robert.
Yeah, I just want to thank Dr. Pandak again for her insight and expertise on polio, and I've had a lot of communication with the people at Rotary in the past week or so, and they're just doing such fantastic work and over the decades. And I encourage you to go to their website endpolio.org, and you'll see what they've been doing. They started vaccinating for polio in the Philippines in 1979 when there was well over 100 endemic countries, and you can actually scroll down and it shows you that there's only 3 endemic countries left. So fantastic work. I would also like to thank the folks at Rotary for allowing me to post some of their blog posts on the globaldispatch.com just a few days before World Polio Day, which is Thursday, October 24th. And you can check them out at the blog and opinion section on the globaldispatch.com.